Let's take a look at how to connect OpenSearch to Knowi. First, navigate to the Queries tab, and then select New Data Source. OpenSearch is API compatible with Elasticsearch, so in Knowi we connect to OpenSearch using the Elasticsearch data source. This works for both AWS OpenSearch and self-managed clusters. First, we'll give our new data source a name. In the Elasticsearch URL field, paste your OpenSearch endpoint. Here you'd replace the domain name and region with your own OpenSearch values, and the rest of the URL could stay the same. However, this URL format is used by AWS OpenSearch service, so if you're running OpenSearch on your own infrastructure or through another provider, your endpoint will look different, but here's just an example of what it might look like. Next, enter your user ID and password. These credentials come from your OpenSearch configuration. And then if your OpenSearch setup requires custom headers, you can add them here. Otherwise, you can just leave this section blank. Select the Elasticsearch version that matches your OpenSearch cluster. And if you want, you can configure ACL permissions if you need to show or hide particular indexes when you're building queries. Then we'll go ahead and test that connection. When we see it successful, we can press save, and now we can start building queries, dashboards, and reports with your OpenSearch data. In the query builder, we can see the different indexes available from our OpenSearch cluster. You can select different fields that you want to show in your query. And you can also sort by any of these fields, as well as apply filters or group by any of the metrics. In the editor mode, Knowi will automatically generate a query in the native language for the data source you're connected. So in this case, it's the Elasticsearch JSON query. And here you could paste a query that you've already created if you don't want to build out your query in visual mode. We'll go ahead and preview our data. From here, you can also add aggregated fields or calculated fields. We'll specify what kind of query we want to run, and then give our dataset a name. And then press save. Now we're ready to build dashboards or visualizations and explore our OpenSearch dataset. Knowi integrates AI to help you create dashboards faster. So instead of manually building each widget, you can simply ask questions of your data or provide a summary of what kind of answers you want provided on your dashboard. So for example, I could ask number of restaurants by borough, and then count of grades by borough. So now we've got a widget with our raw data set. We've got an AI recommendations widget, which analyzes our data set and then provides recommendations based on those insights. And a widget based on each question I've asked. So here's our restaurant count by borough. And then here's the grade distribution across each borough as well. So for any of these, I could go into the Analyze tab to check the steps that AI took, and also make any refinements. And in the Visualization tab, I could change the type of visualization if I wanted to. So for example, that AI recommendations widget is one of the options here. If I think of more questions that I want to ask of my data, I could either update the instructions Or I could just use the search bar along the top and ask a question in plain English of my data. So maybe I want to know which cuisines have the most A grades. So you see how quickly Knowi filters and sorts your data set to get that answer for you. And maybe I just want to find the top 10 cuisines with the most A grades. And then again, we can go into that visualization tab and select which kind of customization we want to use. You can rearrange things on your widgets, on your dashboard. You could also set up dark mode or change the colors of any graphs or anything like that. You could find instant sites for each of your widgets. So these tell you things like bottom values, data summaries, and you could turn on AI generated summaries and recommendations. You can also set up alerts. So these could be certain thresholds that you set up, or you could set up an anomaly detection. And you could send out your report in PDF format on a schedule, and this could be integrated with email, Slack, or Teams. And you can also turn on AI-generated recommendations. So in the body of your report, of your email, you would then have the recommendations that are dashboard-wide embedded into that text there. So to summarize, we've brought in our raw data set and built out a full dashboard and explored some of those customizations and options in just a few minutes.